Hey, welcome to Medicare 101. I'm Randy Bond with Bond Insurance Solutions in Fort Smith, Arkansas. So glad that you're here with us today. Grab a cup of coffee and let's talk about Medicare supplements. Medicare supplements are an excellent way to help offset your Medicare costs. And that's an important thing because right at the very beginning, I want you to remember two very important things about Medicare. I've said this in the other episodes, but if you have not been watching those, I want you to know that Medicare was never ever designed to cover all of your costs. There is cost sharing that can come your way. And the second is just as important, if not more so, and that is Medicare does not have any limit on the cost sharing that can come your way. For instance, on Part B, the cost sharing, once you've met your Part B deductible, is 20%. And if you had something, God forbid, like chemotherapy that came into play, and that was an expensive kind of treatment, like $100,000, that means 20% of $100,000 or $20,000 could come your way. And if that were $1 million, that would mean that 200,000 can come your way. And you would be responsible for figuring out if and how you're going to pay for that. So if you see that bottom left-hand picture, the person tightrope walking at Niagara Falls, can't even imagine doing that. But really, if you just got original Medicare, financially, it's like walking a tightrope over Niagara with no safety net because the cost sharing is unlimited. What that means is that all it takes is just the winds of one significant health crisis coming your way, and now you find yourself in a financial free fall. So Medicare understands that, and they give you a couple of ways to offset those costs and to provide a safety net so that your financial obligations aren't nearly as much as they could be. So option one is what we're talking about today, and that's the Medicare Supplement route. So Medicare Supplement, it would be what you would add on to that. It's a separate sort of plan that you would get, and we'll talk more about how that works. And then you would also get a Part B prescription drug plan if you needed that, and most people do. The second option is a Medicare Advantage plan. Now that's in a completely different way to go about getting your Medicare. It's simply Medicare through a private health insurance company. And we're going to do another video on that one. Encourage you to watch that one as well. But they work more like traditional health insurance. So we're going to talk about what Medicare supplements are, how they work, and how to choose a good plan. Now, if you've ever seen movies about England or have been there, I haven't yet, you'll see that Mind the Gap sign in the train stations, and you'll hear over the intercom that lovely British accent saying, "Mind the Gap." And they do that because there is a gap between the platform and the train. And they don't want people falling into or through that gap because certainly injury could be a great risk there or even worse. And so minding the gap is what we want to do with our Medicare because there is a big gap that people can fall into, and a Medicare supplement is designed to do that. In fact, Medicare originally calls this Medigap insurance. So Medigap and Medicare supplement mean exactly the same thing. And it's just simply a policy that you get through a private health insurance company. So it's not through Medicare, it's through a private health insurance company that helps to supplement your original Medicare. So it works side by side with original Medicare. It's actually some of the simplest health insurance that you can find out there. And so these policies help to pay for the gaps in your original Medicare, those gaps where you could get billed for things like deductibles and co-insurance and co-payments. So all those different ways that you can get hit with bills from the hospitals and doctors and labs and all that. That's what a Medicare supplement is designed to help cover. So Medicare puts out a little guide every single year called Choosing a Medigap Policy. Again, Medicare is really the only people that call it Medigap. If you get an insurance card, it's going to say Medicare Supplement on there. So if you get a Medigap policy, it's going to say Medicare Supplement. But this is actually the 2019 guide. I realized when I was making this that I need to order the new ones that just recently came out. And this video is really drawn from this because I want you to have the accurate, up-to-date information. Not that a whole lot has changed from 2019 to 2020 on this, but there are a couple of changes, and I'll let you know about those. So here's just a couple of quotes and let you know what Medicare supplements cover. So Medigap insurance companies in most states can only sell you a standardized Medigap policy identified by letters A through N. Now, Massachusetts, Minnesota, and Wisconsin are different in that, but all 47 other states are going to be what we're talking about today. So if you're in one of those states, talk to a local agent there and they can help you out. The second thing is that each standardized Medigap policy must offer the same basic benefits no matter which insurance company offers it. What that means for you is that if you get a Plan G with ABC company, it's exactly the same as Plan G with XYZ company. There's no difference in the coverage. It is incredibly simple. All you need to do is figure out what level of coverage that you want. And that coverage is identified by those letters A through N. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But then you can just choose the insurance company that you want, maybe even based on the premium, because there's not really going to be any difference in the coverage. So that's some incredibly good news. It's very simple insurance. So here is a little table that Medicare puts out in their guide. Now this is on page 11 in their little booklet. And so let me just kind of walk through this with you. I hope that this will work for us. We're going to try to annotate this right here. And so right here in this first column on the left, these are the different ways, the different gaps in your Medicare coverage. So there's the Medicare Part A coinsurance. Whoops, let's go back. There's the Medicare Part B coinsurance, your first 3 pints of blood that you might have to pay for, your Part A hospice care coinsurance or copayment, skilled nursing facility care coinsurance, Part A deductible, Part B deductible, and Part B excess charges. There can even be, on some plans, foreign travel emergency benefits. So that's a pretty good deal, because original Medicare only covers you within the US and its territories. It does not cover you outside in a foreign country. But a Medicare supplement can give you that. So if you're planning on traveling internationally when you're in your retirement years, this can be an excellent way to make sure that you've got coverage health-wise when you're traveling. Now, let me just tell you, on these letters you see at the top of the screen, A, B, C, D, there's a gap, and then F, G, and then there's another skip, and then it's K, L, M, and N. Those are the current plans that are available. Now, there's no rhyme or reason. They don't increase in coverage with an increase in the letter. They've just kind of done this as plans have been added through the years. And so actually Plan F has the most comprehensive coverage. Unfortunately, and here's one of the changes that could affect you, is that Plan F is not available to people who are new to Medicare as of January 1st, 2020. Now, if you're watching this and your effective date on your Medicare card is 2019 or before, then you can get a Plan F, you can keep a Plan F, you can change a Plan F, and that's okay. But they just closed the door on new people coming into Plan F and Plan C for that matter. So if you're new this year to Medicare, then what you're looking at is Plan G as the most comprehensive plan available. So Plan G is going to cover all of your Medicare cost sharing except for one. And that one is just simply the Part B deductible. So that is going to be for 2020, $197. So what that means is that you would pay the first $197 of your Part B charges. So that's doctor side. That's not Part A. You don't pay anything. If you had a hospital event which would be inpatient care, you would take your Medicare card and your Medicare Supplement card, and it doesn't matter if you have a $10 million surgery, you're not getting a bill for a dime. That's pretty good coverage. On the Part B side, all that you're paying is your monthly premium and up to that $197 deductible. Once you've met the $197 annual deductible and met it only once during the year, then you got 100% coverage. You could go to the doctor, God forbid, every day of the year and you would not get a bill for that. So that's some really good coverage there with the Plan G. Now, F and G both offer a high deductible plan. So this is an option that usually comes at a lower premium. So you see that little asterisk up there. That's what that means by the letters. That means that basically you would cover the first $2,340 of your health coverage. And then after that is when the Plan G benefits would kick in. Now, the second most popular plan that we're seeing right now is Plan N. It works very much like Plan G. So you'd pay the Part B deductible, $197. You pay that to the doctor's office, by the way, as you are accessing service there. And then with Plan N, the difference is that you would actually have a $20 copay anytime you went to your primary care doctor or specialist. And if you go to the emergency room, you would pay a $50 copay, and that's it. So Plan N can have a lower premium than Plan G, and Plan G is going to be your most comprehensive coverage right now. Okay, so let's talk about what Medicare supplements do not cover. So again, Medicare supplement insurance is the simplest insurance. What Medicare will pay on, your Medicare supplement will pay on. So if you have what Medicare deems to be a medically necessary event, then Medicare pays on that and your Medicare supplement pays on it. It's really simple. All that the Medicare supplement company is looking at when a claim comes its way is, did Medicare pay? If they paid, we pay. There's no question. It's very, very simple. Where people tend to get frustrated with a Medicare supplement is when they make assumptions about what a Medicare supplement covers. And so, you know, it's not been stated anywhere. It's just somehow, some way, they've heard rumors or just assumed that this is what it covers. And so I want you to be aware of the things that Medicare supplements do not cover. Medicare supplements do not cover long-term care. So this would be like custodial care in a nursing home or routine vision, dental, or hearing. Now, Medicare can cover some of those events. So if you had like disease or injury to your eye, for instance, well, that might be more of a doctor visit. And so Medicare would pick that up and your Medicare supplement would pick up the rest of that. But routine vision, where you're just seeing, oh man, you know, I can't see out of my glasses, I need to go see the eye doctor, that's not covered by Medicare. And so your Medicare supplement is not going to cover that. And it's not going to cover routine cleanings or fillings or anything like that for dental. And it's not going to cover routine hearing. So it's not going to cover hearing aids. It's not going to cover the routine hearing exam because your spouse is saying you're saying huh too much. Those you can get separately on a individual vision, dental, and hearing plan, and we can help you with that if that's what you want to look at. Private duty nursing is also not covered by original Medicare. So Medicare supplements, again, they're great because they give a lot of peace of mind. Number one, they're guaranteed to continue your coverage as long as you pay your premium on time and you've not made any misrepresentations on your application. So as long as you were truthful on your application and you've just been consistently paying your premiums, the Medicare supplement can never, ever cancel you. So what that means is that if you had a really expensive health event year, you're not going to get a letter from the Medicare supplement company that says, oh, Mr. Jones, we are so sorry to let you know that because you cost us $10 million last year, we're going to let you go. They can't do that. So you can have coverage for the rest of your life, no matter how sick you get. That's really good peace of mind. The second thing is that companies cannot raise the rates on an individual basis. So again, on that $10 million health event year that, you know, the Medicare supplement company has paid out so much money, they can't send you a letter and say, oh, Mr. Jones, you know, Medicare won't let us drop you, but we're going to raise your rates because you are so expensive for us. They can't do that. They will raise your rates. So Medicare supplement rates do go up. Just be prepared for that. But they go up based on all the people in that particular plan in that particular state. So if you're on a Plan G in Arkansas, they can only raise the rates on everybody in a Plan G in their company in that state. And that can be a different rate increase than it can be from Oklahoma right next door. And so they can raise everybody's rates, but they cannot raise an individual's rates. And the wonderful thing about Medicare supplements is that they go anywhere in the US. And some plans have that foreign travel benefit where it'll cover 80% of your cost if you have to access healthcare when you're traveling internationally. Here's the beautiful thing about Medicare supplements. Anywhere that Medicare is accepted, your plan will be accepted. There are no networks. There are no prior authorizations. And that means that if you happen to be traveling you're snowbirding, or you're just going to visit Alaska, so you're far, far away from home, unless Alaska is your home, then your coverage is going to be good there as long as they accept Medicare. And it doesn't matter if the doctor's office has ever heard of your company or not. Wow. So that is just really good peace of mind, knowing that you can travel with it. They can't cancel you unless you're not paying your premiums, and they can't raise your rates as an individual. So when's the best time to buy a Medicare supplement? Well, when you're turning 65, and if you're signing up for Part B at the same time. Now, you do have to have A and B in order to get a Medicare supplement. But if you're doing both of those, signing up for Part B, and we're assuming Part A along with that, and you're turning 65, then it begins on the first of the, your Medigap open enrollment period will begin on the first day of the month that you're turning 65. And so during this time, you can get any Medicare supplement offered in your area. So any plan letter with any company, and the plans cannot refuse you. You have guaranteed enrollment. So you could have stage 4 cancer. You could be about to undergo quadruple bypass open heart surgery, and we could sign you up for a Medicare supplement, and they have to accept you. And also, they cannot charge you more than someone who has no health problems. So when you're signing up when you're 65, it's as though you're in perfect health, and they can't refuse you, and they can't charge you more. And they can't make you wait for coverage to start. Now, there is one exception, and that exception is possibly in the case of a pre-existing condition. So let's talk about pre-existing conditions. Now, a lot of people assume that the Affordable Care Act affected all insurance. The Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, did not affect Medicare supplement plans. So pre-existing conditions can still be an issue with them. Now, if you're turning 65 and you've got your open enrollment period, they can't turn you down because of a pre-existing condition, but they may postpone coverage for that pre-existing condition only for 6 months. So here's just some things to know. So a pre-existing condition is a health problem that you have had that you've either been diagnosed for or treated for within the 6 months prior to the start of your Medicare supplement policy. So in some cases, a Medigap policy can refuse to cover your out-of-pocket costs just for that pre-existing condition for up to 6 months. Now, Medicare is still going to pay their part even on that pre-existing condition. So this does not affect Medicare. It only affects the Medicare supplement coverage. So that means if you're going to the doctor to get treatments for different things, and that falls into Part B, then that 20% cost share would come to you for that pre-existing condition only. All the others would be covered once you meet the deductibles and any other thing that the Medicare supplement plan might require you to do. But Medicare is going to pay their 80%. So you've still at least got that partial coverage. Now, once you hit 6 months and a day, your Medicare supplement is going to cover everything from then on, and there's no question. Now, here's the big however. This is why I said they possibly would not cover a pre-existing condition. If you've had at least 6 months of prior creditable coverage, meaning you've had health insurance that Medicare deems to be creditable coverage, and the Medicare supplement company can let you know that, then they cannot make you wait before it covers the pre-existing condition. So it's almost like you've been insured by the Medicare supplement the whole time, and pre-existing conditions go away. So as long as you've had like group benefits or an individual plan prior to coming into a Medicare and a Medicare supplement, then you're okay. There's not going to be any issue with pre-existing conditions. Now, what if you're working past age 65? So you turn 65, you're putting off Part B enrollment because you've still got group benefits, you don't have to have that, and you're not planning on really getting fully on Medicare until you retire. Well, when you do retire, whatever age that is, you have a guarantee issue period, and there's no health questions at that point, so that you can enroll just like you're getting a second 65th birthday, which is kind of nice. But understand that that Medigap open enrollment period, when you're turning 65, that's for 6 months. But when you're retiring past age 65, you've got a 63-day window. And that 63 days is based on one of these three dates. Either the date that your group benefits end, the date that you got the notice telling you that your coverage is ending, if you get one, or in a weird sort of situation where you get a claim denial, and that's the first opportunity that you've learned you don't have coverage anymore. So somehow or another, there was just no communication that your coverage was ending. So if one of those three situations applies, then the later of those is when that countdown begins on that 63 days. So once you have a supplement, Medicare supplement, you can actually change those. And that is something that a number of people will do, because every plan is going to offer the same coverage no matter which company offers it. You know, it can sometimes make a good sense financially to move from one plan to another. Now, I say this as a maybe. You might be able to change a plan later, because once you're past that Medigap open enrollment period, which again is the 6 months that begins on the first day of the month that you're turning 65, and it runs for 6 months. So once you're 6 months and a day out from the month that you're turning 65, there's going to be underwriting questions. They're going to ask you questions about your health. Have you had cancer in a certain time frame? Have you had heart issues like stents or heart attacks? Do you have trouble breathing? Do you have COPD? Do you use oxygen? Those kind of questions that can come in. Do you have diabetes? If so, do you have neuropathy? Are you taking insulin? All those kind of questions can come into play. And so again, because the Affordable Care Act did not apply to this, a Medicare supplement policy, either if you're signing up for the very first time outside of your Medigap open enrollment period, or if you're looking to change plans, can ask you the health questions, and they can do one of these three things. They can accept you. This is best case scenario. You're in pretty good health, and they charge you the normal premium. Or they can accept you, and because you're not in great health, they can charge you a higher premium. And the third thing that they could possibly do is deny you. So based on the health criteria that they are looking for, they may say, this is not a good fit for us, and they can deny the coverage. Now, I want you to know, every Medicare supplement policy asks different questions. They ask different time frames and all of that. So before you self-exclude yourself, you say, I just can't get one, I can't change. Talk to an agent first, because we see a lot of the different plans that are out there. We see the questions that they're asking. And so because one plan may deny you or charge you higher premiums, another one may just say, hey, welcome aboard. Here's the basic rate, and we're glad to have you. So always talk to an agent. Don't assume you're not in good enough health to change. Let's check first and see if there might be a good match where we can save you some money on your Medicare supplement. Now, here's just something to be aware of. Again, a lot of people assume the wrong thing. You can change your Medicare supplement plan any day of the year. You're not limited to Medicare's annual enrollment period of October 15th to December 7th. So if you get a notice in March that says, we're jacking up your premium 35% starting next month, you can call me and we can see if we can change your plan. So what happens, I get this question a lot, particularly if I point them toward a company that they may not have ever heard of before. And oftentimes, your brand name companies, the one that you see advertisements for on television and magazines and so forth, they pay for those ads with higher premiums. And you can get a lower premium plan oftentimes with a company you've never heard of, because they don't do the national advertising. And so they pass that savings on to you. And so a lot of times I'll say, here's a great company. They're an A-rated company. They've got all these kind of financials. They've been strong and all that. Generally, the question comes to me is, what happens if they go out of business? I've never heard of them before. Well, here's good news. Medicare guarantees you the right to buy any, and here are the plans that they limit it to, plans A, B, C, D, F, G, K, or L in your state, sold by any Medigap insurance company, as long as you do it within 63 days from the date your coverage ends. So if you get a notice and it says, hey, we're going out of business, and the end date is March 31st, you got 63 days from March 31st that you could change up to that point, that you could change and get any Medicare supplement with any company, as long as they're within those plans there. and they can't deny you. There are zero health questions. So you could have signed up for a plan and it's been working great for you, but during the course of you being in that plan, you've developed a whole lot of different things that would normally exclude you health-wise from being able to get another one. They can't deny you. And there would be no pre-existing condition clauses in that. So it's going to pick up with day one coverage at their best premium, as though you had no health conditions, and they're going to cover you on every single thing. So there's some peace of mind that Medicare gives you, that even if you do happen to get connected with the wrong company, things just turn south for them financially and they can't do that anymore, you've got a guarantee issue period that you can sign up for any other plan and you can get that. So how do you choose the right plan? Well, you need to first start with what benefits do you want? Do you want those Plan G level benefits where it's going to cover the most comprehensive thing that you can get right now? Or are you thinking, I'm in pretty good health and I can step down my coverage a little bit and I don't mind paying a little bit of a copay, and so you want to plan in. Maybe you're pre-2020 and you've got a Plan F and you want to look at another Plan F, so those are possibilities. And then with your agent, let's compare the premium cost, because we can look at all the different companies and see how much they actually charge for that same plan. Again, the coverage is going to be the same. Now, one of the things, and I've got this little asterisk right here, one of the things that I look at is price stability. I can't predict what a premium's going to do, but I can kind of look back and see for plans that have been in the area for a while, how much they've been raising their rates. And one thing I'm a little bit cautious about, because I've been doing this long enough, sometimes plans will come in and they're new to the market and they come in with the lowest possible premium, but they've got no pricing history and they get a lot of people sign up for them because they're the lowest premium, and now their claims are just shooting way up, and now their premiums because of that are going way higher than anything else. So I do want to be careful with you to make sure that we're trying to get the lowest possible premium with the greatest amount of price stability that we can. And then we buy the policy. So we send in the application, we see what they say. If they come back with a higher premium or denial, we've got other plans that we can look at, and we'll see if we can get you in the right one. So there are quite a number of different ways that we can do that. As an independent agent, I'm able to look at all the different companies that are out there and try to find the right one for your situation. I don't work for any particular company. Here's a pro tip from Medicare. Cost is usually the only difference between Medigap policies with the same letter sold by different insurance companies. Medicare, in this guide right here on page 9, will tell you that the only difference between Medicare supplements sold by different companies is usually the premium. That is a lot of reassurance. Medicare is the one who regulates the Medicare supplements. People cannot start selling, companies cannot start selling Medicare supplements without getting Medicare's approval. And they also have to get the state approval that they're selling those in. So you've got 2 layers of protection, that you're not getting these scammy kind of things that are going to be fly by night and not there. They've had to go through the rigorous approval process of Medicare and the state. And that gives you quite a bit of peace of mind knowing that if you're getting a Medicare supplement, there's rules that they must follow and they must abide by those. And the simplest rule is if we pay, if we as in Medicare pays, you got to pay. And there's no haggling, no fighting. It is just an easy kind of insurance. So if you do want to look at some Medicare supplements and explore those, see how much those would be, give me a call, shoot me an email, or we can set up an in-person appointment. And these days that can be by Zoom or some other platform like that, or we can just meet by phone. I am a licensed Medicare agent. I'm an independent agent. I do not work for Medicare or any other federal or government agency, but I am here to help and would be delighted to help you. If you found this video helpful, I hope that you'll like it and share it with somebody. And if we can help you, I sure hope that we'll hear from you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Stay tuned for our next video on Medicare Advantage plans. Thanks again for joining us today.